Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are currently with the one and only Nub Raids. Nub Raids, it's your first time on our channel. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's so weird because we were both in the faction games that Dead with Jedi did together. I've been watching your stuff for ages, and then when we jumped on the call, it was like, wait a second, we've never actually talked to each other, which seems weird, but we're fixing that today.
Yeah, definitely. Before we get into what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to throw an icebreaker at you. Oh. What is your first legendary champion you pulled?
Okay, my first legendary, I'm pretty sure it was Tomb Lord, which is actually back in the day before he was buffed. So when I pulled him, everyone thought he sucked, and I was really depressed about it. I remember actually going onto the Hell Hades tier list at the time, and Hell Hades was like, this guy, I think he's a bit underrated. He's better than people think. I was like, okay. But I was holding on to that to comfort me in my hour of despair. But he actually ended up being amazing, and he was like my clan boss MVP back when I didn't know what was going on. I was like, he does so much damage because he's poisoning it. He was great. Yeah, I used him for ages.
Do you still use him right now?
I do. He went in the vault for a good while, and then he got buffed, and now I do use him for soloing dragon. I use him. I use him in Fire Knight for poison explosion. So yeah, he actually gets used a lot.
Nice, nice. My first legendary was actually Valkyrie.
Oh, right. Be that way. It's evil. Not fair.
Yeah. Enough said, right? Yeah.
Enough said.
But yeah, Nub Raids is really he's done a lot of Hydra Boss stuff. If you guys haven't checked him out yet, I've watched a lot of his Hydra Boss content. He makes fantastic content, and yeah, I mean, what is your? I guess Hydra Boss is one of your main content you've done on your channel, but what's like the type of content you really enjoy doing for your channel? So I guess like for our audience to know who you are.
I don't know. I kind of like doing a mix of everything, you know? Like I sometimes get comments from people saying like, why don't you just do only Hydra all the time? I'm like, I would go crazy if that's what I had to do. I like doing the mix, and that actually, it makes it fun as well to sort of puzzle through the week and be like, okay, let's try to have a variety of content and not just the same thing. So I like I like the news videos, champion guides, Hydra stuff. I love doing the test server stuff. That's probably the most fun, I guess, is test server, because it's like, ooh, the brand new thing that nobody knows how to use. Let's go see what they can do. So that's always fun.
Yeah, you always definitely come up with some creative stuff I've seen. Really impressive. I think I'm actually the opposite of you.
Really?
I like to do a lot of mix of everything too, except for Hydra Boss, because Hydra Boss drives me nuts. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's better now. It was really nasty at the start for sure. It's better now, but I will, spoiler warning, for my epics I chose here for the like PVE aspects of the game, I definitely have a leaning, in fact, an overwhelming leaning now I'm looking at them towards Hydra. That's clearly the brain mode I was in when I was picking them. So yeah, I'm going to be picking lots of Hydra champs today.
Yeah, I mean, that's a nice segue to what we're going to be talking about, which is going to be the top 10 most impactful, most game-changing epic champions. Like, maybe it doesn't have to be like the very best, but in our opinion, what we think are really game changers for epic champions. So we're probably going to have a lot of crossovers as far as champions goes, but there might be a lot of different ones too, right? But I think this is good too, because Hydra Boss is actually a content in the game that's really, really important if you want to head towards more the end games, let's say like PvP per se, because I mean, Stone Skin is really, really important there, right? But
yeah,
I think it's going to be a nice, definitely nice. So let's get right into it then. Is there anything you want to add?
All right. No, I'm ready to, let's dive in. Let's do it.
So we're gonna just we're kind of spitballing here, but we're gonna start with PVE content. So we're gonna pick 5 champions epics for PVE, and then we're gonna go 5 champions epics for PvP. So let's start with the PVE, I guess, and starting with you since you're the guest. Which
all right,
yeah.
I'm gonna do the most obvious pick, the most boring pick. It's gotta be Geomancer.
Oh, I was gonna guess it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be Geomancer. Like obviously Hydra, it goes without saying, he's absolutely insane for that. Iron Twins. He's insane for Demon Lord clan boss as well. Tons of the Doom Tower bosses. Like, he is the best champion to kill them. Like, not just out of epics, but out of any champions in the game. This is pretty much everyone's most wanted epic. He's just completely busted, right? He's so good. With reflecting damage, reduces the damage your team takes. Unlike other damage dealers, you don't need to build him with crit rate and stuff. So he's tanky. He makes you tankier, and he does more damage than everyone else. He's the full deal, the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, Geomancer, I mean, even without you saying anything, I would have guessed Geomancer. because that was actually the first video I've seen of your channel, the Geomancer with like the really big eyes and the red laser.
Yeah,
or whatever.
the laser eye.
Yeah.
Classic thumbnail.
Yeah, I do remember that. But yeah, Geomancer is great. He's definitely a champion that a lot of people really want in the game because, like you said, he's good practically everywhere. Oh, one thing I do want to add is, as far as the champions we're picking though, we're gonna be staying away from the unkillable champions and block damage type of champions because those are kind of a bit obvious and it's really not fair to throw those in there. So we're gonna be avoiding those completely. So, okay, so I mean, yeah, Geomancer's amazing. My pick for PVE most impact overall. Wow, I think I'm gonna have to go with Stag Knight. That might be an obvious one too, but Stag Knight is just overall, I think he's really good in the game. Like, maybe not like, he might not be the very best at one particular thing he does, but just overall, he's just good everywhere. You could take him into PvP, you could take him into PvE, like any dungeon in the game. He does have a slow speed on the A1, right? It's really good against bosses, particularly in Doom Tower, and I mean even Hydra boss for that matter. But for the A2 right here, we have an attack down, defense down. There's not too many champions in the game that have a defense down and attack down on AoE in one ability. There's like just a handful, but he's definitely one of them. And it's on a 3-turn cooldown, which is fantastic. And yeah, I mean, there's also he does go to a 95%, I believe, right? Yeah, 95%.
It is,
but, yeah, but with a sniper, you can get that 100% to cap it off from the masteries. So a fantastic champion. I really like Stag Knight. What are your thoughts?
The funny thing is, because Tomb Lord was my first ever legendary, I never really needed Stag Knight. You know, Tomb Lord is the one champion that kind of comes in and replaces him. So that was kind of funny for my account.
Yeah. Yeah, he does have the AoE defense down, attack down on the same ability on a 4-turn cooldown.
He does. Right? That's the one thing. It is a longer cooldown. So yeah. But yeah, no, Stag Knight, he's obviously amazing. He's so good. Like lots of the dungeons, he's really good for Fire Knight. Yeah, lots and lots of spots.
All right, next champion. What is your next pick?
Okay, so my next pick, we're going to the newest faction in the game, the Sylvan Watchers, and we're going with Nia, the new Void Epic. So this one was not one I expected I would be picking, but I did a collab with YST a couple of days ago, and he was showing me Nia in action, and I was actually so impressed by this champion. I think she's actually insanely good, a complete game changer. The big thing for me is you're highlighting the A2 right there. That is so interesting. You know, it's single target cleanse, single target heal, and that's great, but decreases the cooldown of their skills by 2 turns. I think this champion is, obviously they're brand new, so the potential hasn't been fully explored, but when you look at champions that can do this, like Renegade, Hymar, now she's obviously single target, so it's more complex, but they're all complete game changers. They switch up the types of teams you can use completely. So maybe for things like Clan Boss or lots of different stuff, she could open up different teams. But then just her whole toolkit in general, apart from that, which is really good, AoE decrease speed A1. It's Krisk's A1, basically, because she's Void as well. It's Krisk's A1. It doesn't do much damage, but neither does he, to be fair. And then she also has ally protection and strengthen on a 3-turn cooldown. She puts us up for 2 turns. I think that, you know, for people without Krisk, it's one of the things people say, you know, I really struggle with Hydra because I don't have Krisk. There's obviously other alternatives like Necmo, but it's hard to get into it. I think that she really has that potential to come in. That's a huge amount of protection for your team. The passive is going to throw out some healing as well. The A1 decreased speed. So she's bringing the protection at decreased speed, and then that A2 to unlock, you know, whatever, your nuke or your Royal Guard starts slamming out his nukes more often. Geomancer throwing out more burns. If you need your Reviver to pick people up, she can do that too. So yeah, I think she's actually nuts. I think she's so good.
Yeah, I did a recent video with Chosen, and we were talking about just the new champions in general and their ratings on like who we think is like decent or not. And she is actually the epic that I had the highest rated out of the bunch because, just as you mentioned, like all of the above, she has a really nice kit. Really, I mean, the A1 is a AoE, and you could even throw in a stun set for faction wars, and that's just like, you know, nice, really nice combination there too. And the ally protection, the strengthen, and I found this really interesting because you can use this in, I mean, just what you mentioned as well, but in a lot of areas in the game, even like PvP if you want to have a reset for the AoE attacker and just go again, right?
Yeah,
I think that's pretty interesting too. But yeah, she's really, really cool. I think the way she looks is another thing too. The aesthetics.
Yeah, I thought she looked all right, but I figured she just looks like she's an elf in funky armor.
Yeah.
I was like, they could have gone further, but she's cool though. Yeah.
She kind of reminds me of a Star Trek character. I don't know if you watch Star Trek.
I do like Star Trek. Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen all of it though. I started like really recently, so I've been slowly working through them. We're just watching the original series like for the first time now. It's so sexist. It's hilarious. Because it was so progressive at the time, but time has really changed.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, on to the next champion then. So for me, the next champion I'm gonna go with is gonna be Venomage. Venomage is a fantastic epic champion because I mean he also provides the defense down just like the previous champion. We might see a lot of correlation here with the other champions I picked, but that's okay. But he does put up a lot of poisons as well. But what's really cool about him is he has a passive ability that can help reduce the damage you're taking. So this helps him do really well in soloing against like Dragon, against Ice Golem. He can pretty much solo almost all the dungeons in the game by himself. So he puts out poisons on his own, and he puts accuracy in all battles. You could just use him as a lead, so you don't have to hit that 200. Well, it's 200 accuracy for stage 20-25 dungeons in general, but I still say 235 is a sweet spot you want to hit for that most efficient mark, because beyond that it's going to be, it's going to drop out completely. But yeah, I think he's a fantastic champion in general. Even clan boss, you could pretty much take him everywhere in the game outside of PvP for that matter.
What do you think of Ornn, the fusion epic, in terms of comparison to Venomage?
Very similar. Interesting. To be honest with you, I haven't really tested out Ornn much since the buff, but I have seen some videos, and I think Ornn is still pretty decent. But I think you would know better about it because you dove a little bit more into it.
Yeah, I did. Like I recorded my video on him before the nerf.
Yes, me too.
Yeah, so it's kind of harder to compare. I suspect they're probably pretty similar, but
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe Ornn is going to be better for soloing stuff, but then Venomage is probably better in like Demon Lord and stuff like that because she brings a lot of other things. The decreased defense, all of that stuff. The passive is actually surprisingly powerful as well. But yeah, like I think Venomage is overall better, but maybe Ornn is better for soloing. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one.
Maybe a video for another day.
Yeah.
But Ornn does have the healing capabilities, which does make it nice. So you brought up some interesting points there. But yeah. So for the next champion.
Okay. Right, we're going very much Hydra here. We're going for Inquisitor Shamael. This is when I was like, I have to pick him with the Head of Torment in right now, because building teams with Head of Torment in the lead for me anyway. It's like. He's a total game changer, even for me. Complete game changer. It's just that passive, right? Just boom. All the fears and true fears are now just turn meter for your lead position, which is a weird bug that I don't think they're ever going to fix. And that's basically what he does, and that's all he does, and that's all you need. It makes Hydra so much easier. It's a complete game changer. I just got my third one, and I'm building him up at the moment, actually, as we speak.
Wow.
This is a champion that, you can build multiple copies of. I don't have a Duchess or a Sifi or anything like that, so it's a bit more awkward for me. Yeah, to deal with the Torment head. But yeah, so he's insane.
I see, I have the luxury of cheating with Krisk and all these other champions, so I don't have to think outside the box as much.
Yeah, I have a Krisk, which is great, but I don't have one of the top supporters to go with him. That's what I'm cursed with on my account. No good supports. But Inquisitor pulls it through though. I could still one key Nightmare, albeit with Krisk, of course, but I can one key the Nightmare with Inquisitor Shamael. It makes it really easier, a lot easier.
Yeah, I remember when when Hydra Boss first came out, he was absolutely busted, and then they nerfed him a little bit, right?
So they didn't nerf him, they nerfed the Deterrence Mastery. So the Deterrence Mastery used to just go off constantly. So you just trigger these huge chains of counterattacks, like non-stop.
Yeah.
Right? Because like every time someone gets feared, he counterattacks, then he gets feared, and it gets... So yeah, it was just unlimited. So they gave it like a one-turn cooldown. But I don't think they nerfed him directly, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think that's the only time I've ever used him, when he was busted. And then when he got nerfed, I think that's around when I pulled Krisk, and I'm like, okay, it's just time to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he actually does do a lot of damage as well if you want to build him for
Yeah.
damage, which is, you know, something else. Like, because I remember like those waves in Doom Tower when you couldn't really down the Siffy or, you know, something like that, or even like a Duchess for PvP, right, on Arena. Like, I remember he was an option that a lot of people would want with for damage, because he does put a lot of damage, and it's a triple hero right here that does ignore defense. So that's another thing. So I guess it makes him really versatile in that sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I was mostly thinking for Hydra, but as you said, he's an absolute beast if you build them pure damage. Yep.
All right, so for the next champion, I think this is the third one for me, right?
Yes. I've lost count already.
Okay. All right.
Are we going to the rares?
Not yet. I was
thinking.
Yeah. Okay. I was looking at my notepad bottom, and then I was like just scrolling on the thing. I wasn't even looking at it.
Okay, I see. Yeah. I was like, Sacred Order rare. This is really out of left field. What is this going to be?
All right. So the next champion I'm going to go with is Sylar.
Ooh.
She's low-key one of my favorite champions in the game, because I really liked her for a long time, since as far as I can remember, because she's got an AoE on basically every attack, right? And like, you throw in a stun set and she's going to do wonders for you in a lot of PvE content in the game. Like, I know we're not talking about the PvP aspect yet, but even if you want to use her for the turn meter manipulation there, it could be something that could be utilized. But we're talking about the PvE, so she does do AoE on every ability, like I said, and stun set plus Sylar is just absolutely beast mode. Doom Tower, the waves, it's just really, really, really great. And I even utilized her in Fire Knight in our faction games, if you remember. I guess like a lot of people, a lot of people were expecting me to use a Sylar, but I just looked at their kit, I'm like, it could work great there. I know she doesn't have multi-hits, but if you find the right piece to go around her, you know, with that turn meter reduction, or the turn meter manipulation, it could work out really, really well. So I did utilize her in that way. But yeah, I think I really, really like Sylar. Yeah, I think she's a really, really great champion though.
Yeah, like in terms of going through those Doom Tower waves, like you'd be hard pressed to find a better epic to do that. Like, so good. The turn meter control is insane. Like, when you're on the receiving end of I remember being on the receiving end of that all the time, like starting out, like mid game Arena especially, she was always there. And as you get pushed back and the decreased speed goes on, it's like, okay, we're not getting a turn, we're just dead. That's it. She's really, really good.
All right, next champion.
Okay, my next champion is going to be Seeker in Undead. I think he has to be picked up, really. This guy, he's just stood the test of time. Coming at it from the Hydra angle, I actually think he's one of the absolute best provoke champions in the game. He's just so good for it. It doesn't say in the tooltip, actually, of the A1, which is weird. But I'm like 95% sure that he actually has a chance to place provoke on both hits. It's not just a one-off, which is weird, because it doesn't say it does. But I'm pretty sure it does.
I'm pretty sure it does too, yeah.
Yeah, which actually means, in terms of an A1, he's actually very reliable at provoking, especially because he does it effectively every turn, because the A2 is an extra turn move. And he comes in Hydra, it's like, okay, really good provoker, A1, and then giving us absolutely tons of turn meter and increased attack as well. And then the passive is actually quite useful for Hydra too, in case you ever do get crit. It sort of helps smooth out that damage intake. So I think he's really good for that. And then, of course, you know, the classical uses. Clan Boss. I use him in my Clan Boss team, of course, for Bad Eater. He opens up so many Clan Boss teams because the turn meter is so strong. And then he's also quite good in Arena. You know, not as much anymore, but he's still there. Because of that passive and the turn meter boost, that provokes actually quite nifty in Arena as well. So yeah, I think he's a really versatile champion. But yeah, he just, you get this guy and it's like, okay, I need to recheck all my Clan Boss teams and see, maybe I'm going to be completely switching it up at this point. Probably try throw him in a Hydra team as well for a lot of folks. So yeah, I think he's really good.
So I've been doing YouTube and Twitch streaming for about 1.5 years now. And since I started that, I had another person that has, who became my mod. He's been a mod for a long time, and he's just trying to pull a Seeker for a really, really long time now. And it took him he pulled it like a month ago or something like that, finally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's wanted a Seeker for a long time, and he finally got it. So yeah, Seeker is, he's amazing. He's amazing. He's actually really unique because he's the only champion in the game that can fill turn meters technically on the 2-turn cooldown, right? It's because it's on a 3-turn cooldown, but he gets an extra turn, so it's technically on a 2-turn cooldown. So it does enable a lot of interesting compositions out there, like Bad Eater, which I actually do run also right now. I actually ran Salad Eater for the longest time, and
right.
Yeah, I think like it took me a year before I switched back to Bad Eater, because I came to realize, like, what am I doing? I'm manuing the first like 40 seconds of the fight every single day for no reason. I could just go back to Bad Eater.
Yeah.
I guess I was trying to be different or kind of cool with a different composition, but yeah, I think convenience is the most important thing.
It's a little bit.
Yeah. All right. For me, the next champion is going to be, okay, I lost count. I think we're on 4.
I think so. Yeah.
This, I didn't want to go here because it's kind of cheating, but it has to be said. I know we said we weren't going to talk about unkillable champions, but this champion is just one of the biggest game changers in the game. Like, absolutely, it's not even fair. Seer is just a PVE queen because she can strip all the buffs on every single champion first off, and then by doing so, she's gonna be putting out a massive nuke that just wipes out the entire wave, and it's a one shot. Especially if you have a reset on the team, then you could reset and just crush the second wave as well, and just go straight to the boss and dragon, Ice Golem, or Fire Knight, or etc. So, I mean, she is basically a legendary in the form of an epic, if I'd say so, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in terms of getting into dungeons 21 to 25, Doom Tower hard, yeah, Seer is like the way to get into it. She's absolutely nuts. Yeah, complete game changer when you get her. Like, I can imagine a lot of folks are sat there going, I just farm stage 20 dragon or stage 20 whatever because it's just too hard. Or like Doom Tower hard, it just takes me so long to kill the waves. And then you pull a Seer and you're like, here we go. It's go time.
Yeah. I'm gonna give a quick shout out to YST. YST actually just pulled a Seer not too long ago. Like, I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago. He messaged me immediately. Guess what I pulled? It finally happened.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't use mine that much, actually. I need to use mine more. I like to, like you were saying, it being different. I like to be different and use like weird stuff too. And then sometimes you're like, this is great fun. And then other times you're like, why did I not just use Seer? That would make more sense.
Yeah, once you go a certain composition, you can't go back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. Also, Seer, she does also provide other. I mean, she provides a increased crit rate on all allies as well as weekend, and she has a chance to get an extra turn on day 1. But if you pull her, I mean, on my free to play accounts, I pulled her pretty early, and I jumped straight from like doing Dragon 10 to like Dragon 20 instantly, like immediately.
Oh wow!
So the impact she brings is just incredible. But I kind of cheated by picking her, but that's okay.
You went to pick her. I was gonna have to pick her next if you didn't. It was like we can't go through it without saying Seer. People will go mad.
Yeah.
The comments would come get us. I'm sure the comments are gonna come get us anyway. I'm sure. Let us know. I'm sure we forgot about a million different champions that you guys are like, I can't believe you didn't pick. I don't know, Bikehead, whatever he's called, Torture Helm. What a legend.
Before you get into it though, like, I'm just gonna piggyback on that. Before we got on the recording, we had a lot of long list of champions. Like, I have like 20-30 champions here that I had to dumb it down to 5 or 10, right? So it's really difficult. There's a lot of champions we're gonna miss. This is not necessarily gonna be the best, right? Oh, sorry about that. It's not gonna be the best champions as far as Epic's impact. It's just going to be what we went with, right? So it's just, hopefully it'll hit on home on some of you that do have the champion, and maybe if you didn't think about that, like you had the champion vaulted and you didn't realize how good it is, then hopefully we are able to change your mind. So this is the kind of video we wanted to put out for you guys. So
okay, so my last one, this is really just a pure Hydra pick. I'm gonna have to pick Ugo, just for Hydra. Really, not that much of a game changer, I would say. Really, anywhere else, you're like, hey, she's good to have, great for faction wars, but she is in there. Yeah, wrong one. The other one beginning with the U, Ugo. But yeah, I mean, just in terms of Hydra, for getting into Hydra, she just brings you everything you need. Decreased defense with AoE block buffs, 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance. You do need sniper as well for her. But yeah, like, she's just so good. And then she also has a cleanse, which also happens to get rid of heal reduction, which is, again, more important since they changed Hydra, where with provoke you get heal reductions on you a lot, and that can get you killed. She gets rid of it, heals you up. The LiQWYD one is really helpful as well. So yeah, she just, in terms of going into Hydra, she brings you so much of the stuff that you need. Like you really do need block buffs. You need decreased defense. You're gonna need something to keep you alive. She's like, hey, I have all of those three things. All those three things that you need, absolutely need. I bring all of them in one hero, so we're good. So yeah.
Ugo is incredible.
Do you use her in your team still?
I use her in Hydra Boss. Like I have to. She's just so good. She's so good.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like not only that, is like she also has a chance to, if your entire team is dead, she has a chance to revive your entire team because she puts a block buff on, or block damage on herself, and then once she gets to her turn, she can use this ability and it revives everybody that's dead. But yeah, she's incredible. I do use her in Hydra Boss, and she's even decent in other areas in the game if you need an AoE defense down. Because like this is just a universal ability that's just going to be used everywhere. AoE defense down is just really good anywhere. And on top of that, the block bust, like we're going to be talking about the PvP soon, but the block bust is also something that's very decent for arena as well. If you, well, I guess you could say Swift Parry is not as used as it used to be, because back then everybody's running Swift Parry, and this was just incredible against that, right?
Yeah.
But even against like Leoris's, even against like Skull Crowns, this is a fantastic ability too. So
yeah, agreed. All right, what's your final one for PvE?
Oh, we're already in the final one. Oh god.
That's yeah. This is it.
Oh man.
This is it.
My final one. Okay. I was gonna try to go with a different one that maybe people don't really think about, but we're on here, and it's just staring me in the face, and I have to go with it. Skull Crusher. Skull Crusher is such a game changer. Like as soon as you pull this guy, whatever clan boss you're at, whether it's like easy, normal, brutal, you're just gonna jump straight to the next difficulty basically, because his counter-attacking capability is just really good. There's only a handful of champions that have this ability, right? Put a counterattack on everybody except for him. He doesn't put it on himself. But just having that AoE counterattack for your entire team is just Valkyrie, Martyr, and then Skull Crusher, and that's it. So Clan Boss is amazing, but even if you want to utilize him for, let's say, like a Fire Knight or other dungeons in the game, now the run might take a little bit longer because counterattack adds a lot more animation, but it's going to help you ensure a little bit of safer wins because you're putting out more damage, and also you're being protected by his ally protection as well as his unkillable he puts on himself. But yeah, Skull Crusher, I mean, there's really not much to say about him, right?
Yeah, he's really good. One thing, for if people want to use him in Hydra, you absolutely can as well, and it can add a ton of damage. You do need to be careful. If counterattack gets stolen, that's like the worst thing that could possibly happen. So you want to make sure you got a good block buff champion in there. I actually really like Abora with him actually as a mischief tank, and she's got a really good A1 that works really well at the counterattack, where she can like AoE decrease defense with A1. I found them to be a nice combo to make him actually work there.
Nice.
Still sometimes get stolen, and you're like, oh no, this is bad.
So does that mean you basically have to start over? You have to regroup, or what?
You can sort of get through it sometimes because they'll outrun the buffs. Like Mischief will, because he'll start counterattacking. He'll start stealing. Like every time you attack, he'll start attacking whoever has the most buffs and taking their buffs then and their turn meter. So he just goes absolutely bananas. He actually outruns the buffs eventually. But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, so that is pretty much covering the top 5 for the PvE content, right? So I guess we could talk about the PvP now. I think this is going to be a lot more easier because, well, not easier, but it's going to be a lot more similar because there's not too many different champions we could probably go with because there's a lot of obvious ones, right? So
yeah, I think we're going to overlap a bit.
Yeah. But as a guest, we'll let you start it off again if you want to talk about your first pick.
All right, I'll start with an obvious one, and it's Madame Ceres.
Yes.
Who's in the 10X this weekend. Hey.
There you go.
So I actually didn't get her until like a couple of months ago. She was my seer, as it were. I didn't get her for forever and ever. And like I built her up and stuff. I used her a little bit, but like I've got Romantu at this point, so I was like, I don't know if I need her at this point. But she's still really good. And like, you know, for 99% of players, when you get her, you're not going to have a Romantu and be like 2 years into the game. She's going to be a complete game changer. The buff strip with the decreased defense and decreased attack, you know, just the buff strip is just huge for Arena. It's a complete game changer nowadays more than ever. The decreased defense makes your nukers hit them harder. It's just a great 1-2 combo. And then, hey, even if they don't die, decreased attack, decreased defense. Unless it's a HP nuker, she's really reduced their damage. Yeah, and then she's got the backup chance to steal some buffs in the A2. She's got it all. Great base stats. Yeah, this champion's really, really, really good. It's actually the first champion I think my girlfriend ever pulled. And I was just like, okay, well, she's in all your teams now forever. All your dungeon teams and everything as well. It's like, okay, there you go. You're good.
Yeah, Madame Series she's been a queen in an arena for a really long time. And a lot of people are going to, I mean, once you pull her, you're going to be super happy because AoE defense down. The one thing that's really special about her is that she can do this without touching the enemies. Meaning, like, if they're slept by a Kaimar or slept by, I don't know, let's say like a Cornelia or something like that, if you do utilize her in that way, she can just place the defense down and attack down without touching them, without waking them. And it's really, really great, right? So she is great in arena, like great. So make sure to build her if you have her, guys. All right, on to the next champion. So for me, the PvP. So I mean, I guess we could just go through it together because like we're gonna be it's gonna be the same thing. But Madame Series was also my first pick actually. Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. I think I've got one, actually maybe two picks that you won't have picked. One of them is cheating, and then I think one you won't pick. We'll see. Okay. I think the other two you definitely will pick.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with a. So this kind of cheating too, I guess you could say, but we're gonna go with a nuker here. This might be might be an obvious one, but a lot of people might have him in the vault and you don't know. But this guy is a massive, massive nuker. He hits super, super hard. He can hit twice, basically like a Tronda in a sense. But yeah, as long as they don't have an HP burn or debuff on them, you can do it again, right? So really, really powerful champion. His multipliers are incredible, and he's based off of HP, his attacks. So if you have him, guys, and you're looking for nuker, then I think he is definitely one of the best options to go. Really, really incredible champion.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see him like at the top end arena because you got like empowered champions now, and legendary blessings and stuff. But if you consider someone that's like 6 months into the game and they don't have any of that stuff, like Magnar is absolutely top tier, no question. Definitely. He's super good.
Yeah, like right before the empowerment actually came out, I have a clanmate that was using Magnar as his primary nuker in Plat Arena for a long time.
Yeah, but, there you go.
Yeah, but now he's using a Baron because he got buffed and he has a +2 on it. So. Yeah. Anyways,
times change.
All right. So your next pick.
Okay. Will I go with my cheat pick now? Will I get the cheat pick out of the way? You told me not to do this, but I want to pick it because I think it's a bit out there. It's actually Demitha.
Oh, okay.
For arena, so I figured you would let me away with it, seeing as it was probably more so for clan boss, not.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
But yeah, I think when you go into arena, I actually think as a support, Demitha is actually really good and might open up a lot of options for you that people might not be thinking about. Like you go in and imagine she's in Stone Skin or Reaction or something, so she survives that first hit. She goes in, block damage and a really nice heal on your team. That's if you survive that first hit, it's really difficult then to get past that. And then her A2 is actually really good as well because it reduces all your debuffs, increases your buffs. Again, that go second team. The heal also is massive. So actually, I used her for a good bit in arena action, and I found that she could be really effective because she makes your team so hard to kill. I think that functionally, she actually is quite like a mini Withier in a lot of ways, right? Okay. She does a ton of healing. A lot of protection with the block damage. A little bit is for the mini cleanse by reducing debuffs a little bit. It just adds up to be really effective, and I don't really see anyone ever use her. I think that she's kind of one of those sleeper ones that might actually be really helpful for some people. They don't know.
Yeah, she does have the block damage as well on the A3, and that could be really helpful against teams like Mortar Macabre, which is very often seen on defense nowadays, especially at the higher end of Plat Arena. But yeah, the block damage is really, really great there. That's one of the best ways to counter Mortar, by the way. But really interesting pick actually. I wasn't even thinking about it, Demitha, and I am letting you get away with it because when I said when we said let's ignore the unkillables, it's pertaining to the PVE. So this is definitely different.
Yes,
you're off the hooks. You're okay.
Okay, I'll be invited back for another collab at some point. Okay. On the blacklist. No, never again. Get out of here.
All right, for the next champion for me. So this is someone I was originally going to pick for PvE, but I wanted to save him for the PvP, and that's going to be a Deacon Armstrong. This guy is incredible. He's got the increase ally speed in all battles by 19%. So the leash here is not really this is not really what you're going to be using it for PvP. I mean, if you get it off, that's fine, but what he's really impressive for is he's got a mini Lysandra capability here with the turn meter manipulation. Fills the turn meter of all allies by 15% and then decreases enemy turn meters by 15%. And on top of that, you get an extra turn. So you're not only doing turn meter manipulation, but you're also putting out an AoE defense down in the same turn, right? Basically. So he's a fantastic champion if you guys do end up pulling him, and if you guys are looking for in a speed aura, or even just like his capability here with the turn meter manipulation and the defense down so you can nuke harder.
Yep, he's an amazing champ. Yeah, he's so good everywhere. Very strong. What's it? Is the 3-for-1? Is that what people say? You know, you got the speed, turn meter boost, turn meter pushback, AoE decrease defense.
3-for-1. I like it.
3-for-1. All right. My next one here, I think we gotta give a shout out to him. It's Vogoth. I think for going into arena, I think he's a game changer for so many players, right? Especially in, let's say, tag arena, where you're really struggling against speed teams that are faster than you. You're going like, what the heck do I do? Especially if you're not like far enough into the game. Like I tend to just be like, I'll just put everybody in stone skin. There we go. But you know, if you're at the point of the game where you don't have a million pieces of stone skin lying around, this guy comes in with that passive that heals you based off the damage that he takes, and it's just so good for keeping your team standing. You know, you get nuked, and then your team, the health bars just pop right back up. I think that's just so powerful, and he's really easy to build. He just needs a lot of HP, and that's it. You just leave him there. Not to mention the fact, of course, that if you look at the PvE stuff, he's also absolutely insane there for, you know, things like Bommel and all of that, you know, for those bosses. Yeah, I just think this champion is really good. And it's so difficult without reaction pieces and stone skin to build go second teams. And it's also really difficult to build speed teams. It's just hard. Arena's just really hard. I think this guy opens up the go second much earlier than you otherwise would get. So yeah, I think he's really good for that.
So speaking of Bommel, I actually built 3 of these guys just for that.
Yeah. Me too.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't pull a Samar for the longest time, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna pull the trigger and build 3 of these guys. But yeah, for PvP though, I actually have a friend, Shinny, who was using a Vogoth on defense for a pretty long time. Not so much recently, but he was using him during plat reset defense, and it actually threw a lot of people off because I guess people don't really understand how this passive is really powerful, because you can nuke, right? But he's going to heal everybody back up, which is incredible. But yeah, really, was this your super pick, by the way?
No.
Okay.
I thought you would pick this one too.
Oh, I see. Yeah, definitely a solid choice though. Okay, saving it. Is it saving for last? I see.
Yeah.
All right, so we are on. Okay.
I think that's 3.
Yeah, so 4th one for me. This is going to be another. I guess you could say I'm kind of cheating again. I don't know if this is cheating, but we'll just go with it. It's fine. I'm going with another nuker, guys.
You're scrolling down to the uncommons there for a second. I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay. I did it again. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit. We'll just say that. All right. So the next one I'm gonna go with is Gambo, who is a fantastic nuker, guys. He does hit really hard. And YST, another shout out to YST one more time. YST was using this guy as a nuker for a really long time on his arena team, and he does have the aura speed, right, as well for all battles, 20%. But his AoE does hit really hard. It's really powerful because you can go from the increased crit rate and the increased crit damage for 3 turns, and then you get an extra turn, and then you go into the AoE, which is really hard. So I think he's an incredible champion. If you are looking for nuker in arena, he's definitely a solid choice.
Yeah, he hits through the unkillable, which makes him really relevant for a long time. You know, Leorius and all that. Cool, great.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's good. He's very good. I like him more now. When he first came out, he had a weird stance. I didn't like it. Now he looks cooler. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
He used to look like Fenshi. He used to have like a sword, just like hugging himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. All right, on to the last one then. It's your fourth one. Sorry.
I think it's second last. Okay.
Second last, you're right.
Because there's one I have to call out, and then there's the one I want to call out. So the one I have to call out is Sandlash Survivor. Again, for building that Go Second team, it's the same deal. The really insane, she's Orc.
You're right.
Yeah, so she's just the insane passive, right, for just protecting your team. So she comes in when your team gets nuked, ally protection, so just half damage on everyone, and she gets block damage on herself, so she will survive. I think that's just so useful. And the way that AoE attacks go is like, if it triggers on the first person, then the ally protection goes out and it's going to protect the rest of the team, and she won't take any damage from the AoE. So okay, for building a Go Second, that's so powerful. And she actually hits pretty hard. I actually have one built as kind of a nuker, and it works pretty well, actually. You know, you survive that initial hit with the passive, and then she comes in and actually slams pretty hard with the A2. And the buff extension that it does is also, again, quite useful for your sort of Go Second teams. It can make it difficult to deal with. So yeah, I think this champion, as a game changer, like it opens up a whole other suite of sort of Go Second style teams.
I do remember, like, whenever I'm pushing during the week just to, I guess, like, push into the gold 5 to platinum, whenever I see a Sandlasher on defense, it's just, I always look at him like, oh my gosh, it's so annoying because of this right here. Yeah. But as far as the block damage, so going back to the Ugo we talked about earlier, guys, Ugo is fantastic against a Sandlash type of champion. Because you can just pretty much ignore that. But Sandlash is she's definitely a solid choice. For some reason, I always think she's a barb because like just the looks of it, right? So I always end up going to the barbarian.
Vibe, yeah.
But yeah, she is an orc champion. Okay, on to the last pick then. So this one for me, I think this is a bit of a sleeper. We are going to be going with Basher.
Yeah.
So Basher he's an all-around solid champion, particularly for faction wars. But when we're talking about PvP, he does something very similar to a warlord, very similar to a Yumiko, right? Where you can increase the cooldown of all the target skills by 2 turns. Now he's not going to be depleting the turn meters like a warlord is, or decreasing your cooldowns like a Yumiko is. But this part right here is definitely a solid champion for just pretty much just locking people out, right? So I think this is definitely a champion that a lot of people were using for some time, and even in Plat Arena to some degree. But it's a solid champion for this right here.
Yeah, this was a champion I totally slept on, like completely. I had him for ages, and I just never thought about using him in Arena for so long. And looking back, I was like, oh, if I just built him up and built teams around him, that would have made life a lot easier. Because it's such a powerful ability. In practice, it only locks them out for like 1 turn because it ticks down at the start of their turn.
Yeah,
but it's still like it's enough, right, to win the arena fight. You lock them out for 1 turn, boom, like you're really well set. So yeah, really good champ.
All right, so for your last pick, this is your sleeper, right?
Yeah, this is my sleeper.
And
Claude. I don't know how what you would like on your channel. I'll call him his real name, Beast Feeder. I like to misname him sometimes.
Beast Feeder.
Yeah, this is a sleeper. Claude. He's the top left.
Okay, you find him. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah, this guy. Look at this. Look at this majestical beast. He's got. You can't see. He's behind me. Oh wait, on this side, he's got really high base speed, which is cool. Oh dear.
Oh, sorry. Let me just.
I'm ruining your stream.
There you go.
Really important stuff that's been set up right for ages is now wrong. But he's got really high base speed. But he comes in and he's basically budget Lady Kimmy. He gives you increased speed, increased accuracy, and I think in the way that the arena is right now, with so many Mithralas out there, with Stone Skin and stuff like that. It's really helpful for opening up things like bomb champions, for opening up your crowd control to be 100% reliable. He's obviously not as good as Lady Kimmy. I don't have a Lady Kimmy though, so I actually use Claude, and he's great as an increased accuracy champion. And it's a really, really rare move. There's not that many champs that have it. And it's just he's easy to build because he has so much speed. Baseline, it's easy to get him high up in your turn order. Just get those buffs on, and then let your debuffers get to work. And his A2s actually, and his passive are actually decent as well for like keeping you alive. So I found that to be kind of helpful sometimes. Like a Leoria survives and gives you a smack. It's like, well, we got the shield on, keeps us alive through it. He's got a lot of base HP, so yeah, he's a fun champion.
Yeah, I actually wasn't even looking or thinking about this champion at all. Like,
No.
I would have never guessed the champion. But I actually didn't even realize his speed was so high. Holy cow. A base speed of 110? That's actually really impressive.
I use him in Iron Twins as well, actually. I use him in my Iron Twins team.
Wow.
Just to hit the accuracy requirements. And then the shield is also pretty nifty for keeping you alive. So he's a decent...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying he's really good. That's it. He's missing a hand, sadly, but that's all right.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he only needs one. You only need one.
I didn't really think much about this champion, to be honest. Whenever I pull this champion for people, I'm just like, okay, you know. But his third ability here is actually really nice. This increased speed, increased accuracy. A lot of people are not going to have the accuracy required to hit against certain champions because, like, I mean, it's going to depend on where your account progression is, of course. But this is going to help you not need as much accuracy to just go against all those high resistance, and if anything you do see it, right? But it does that 110 speed is huge. It's really huge, and I didn't really think about this too much here, but yeah, really solid. I do like the pick.
I like the storyline of him. I often misname him, but even just going by the basic abilities, I think it's so fun that he is the beast feeder. As like he goes to the beast pens to feed them, and they've escaped. So then he's like, beast escape, and he's got that icon. It's like, guys, we gotta go. Come on, everyone. We gotta go so fast. They've escaped. Ah, the beasts are out. Yeah, that's the story of Claude. It's a tough life.
And a massive amount of shield as well.
Yeah.
Nice story, though.
Yeah, there you go.
Very
story
nice.
time with Nub Raids.
Very nice.
All right. You have one more pick, right?
No, that was it. That was it.
That was it.
Yeah,
right.
Okay. my overlap with you on the Madam Serious, so that was my pick basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that is pretty much it, guys, as far as the champions we wanted to talk about. I mean, there's so many champions out there, epics, that are really fantastic that we didn't even cover, but those are just like some of the ones that came to our mind that we wanted to share with you guys or talk about. So hope you guys are able to build that champion if you do have it. If you don't have it, then and you do pull it, then hopefully you're excited when you do pull it, right? But yeah, Nub, thank you so much for coming onto the channel. It was really great to have you on. Is there anything you want to share with us or anything you want to mention?
No, it's just, thank you so much for having me on. It's been absolutely a great time. The comments I'm most looking forward to when you do these types of videos is always the, oh my god, I had like 5 Claudes and I fed every single one. No, what have you done, guys? No. So we'll see if there's any of those. But yeah, no, thanks for having me on. It's been really fun.
Definitely check out Nub, everybody. He is a fantastic content creator, and he does stream on YouTube mostly. But I have caught him. I have been lurking here and there on his Twitch stream as well. So make sure to follow him on Twitch as well. I have his link to his link to his Twitch channel and his YouTube channel in the description down below and pinned comment section. So make sure to drop by his channel, say hi, show him a lot of love and support. And yeah, once again, thank you so much, Nub, for coming onto the channel. And if you do enjoy my content in general, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you all in the next video.